Near one of the previously destroyed garages, two Russian soldiers were noticed moving carefully through the field. They appeared to be searching for a place to hide and decided to make use of the ruins as a potential shelter. The reconnaissance drone tracked them from above the entire time, silently observing every step they took. Both soldiers stopped several times, scanning the surroundings and checking their phones, unaware that every movement was being monitored. When they finally decided to stay together and hide in the same spot, an FPV drone was launched to strike. Moments later, another Russian was spotted walking alone across an open field. He was attempting to move toward his positions, unaware that his every step was being watched from above. A Ukrainian FPV drone took off to intercept him, circling several times and causing visible panic. The man looked up, trying to spot where the buzzing sound was coming from, waving his weapon in confusion. The drone maneuvered around him repeatedly, waiting for the perfect angle of attack. Through the eyes of the reconnaissance drone, the operators patiently observed his movements and breathing pace, ensuring accuracy. After a few suspenseful passes, the FPV drone accelerated, locked on, and struck directly into the target.
A small group of Russian troops was detected advancing through a tree line on the eastern front. Their formation was loose, and they clearly didn't realize they were under surveillance. Ukrainian reconnaissance drones followed them at a low altitude, marking every individual on the thermal feed. Once they began to hear the distinct sound of an FPV drone approaching, they quickly dispersed, attempting to hide under trees and fallen branches. The first soldier who spotted the drone tried to fire back but missed. He turned and started running, but within seconds the FPV drone closed the distance and detonated near him. The explosion sent smoke through the tree line. The remaining soldiers threw themselves to the ground, trying to crawl into cover. In the middle of an open field, a heavily armored Russian soldier was moving cautiously toward his positions. His vest and helmet reflected sunlight, making him easy to track for the drone camera. The reconnaissance drone followed him at medium altitude, marking his coordinates. Two smaller Mavic drones were dispatched to engage. Realizing he was being hunted, the Russian opened fire, sending several rounds toward the sky, but his aim was poor. Bullets passed harmlessly by the drones. The first FPV impact struck his side, but the armor absorbed part of the explosion. The second hit knocked him off balance, but still didn't finish him. Ukrainian operators decided to wait until he crawled behind a small dirt embankment and then sent a drone with an incendiary warhead. The moment it hit, flames erupted. Within seconds, the armored figure was engulfed in fire, struggling to move. The recon drone captured everything. The flames grew brighter until the image showed nothing but smoke. Two Russian soldiers were found lying next to a fallen comrade. Ukrainian operators decided to strike them simultaneously using a single FPV drone. The drone approached at low altitude, flying steadily between scattered trees. Since the two were lying close together, the operator aimed directly between them. The drone entered the gap, and for a moment nothing happened. It seemed like it failed to detonate. But then, after a short pause, the charge activated, releasing a sharp explosion. In a swampy area surrounded by dense vegetation, two Russians attempted to cross the bog, hoping to reach cover on the other side. Ukrainian drone operators spotted them just as they began to move. One soldier stood in shallow water, apparently waiting for assistance. He looked up, perhaps thinking the drone belonged to his comrades, but he was wrong. The first strike hit his legs, knocking him into the mud. The second FPV drone approached moments later, scanning the swamp until it located the injured man crawling into a hiding spot. With a controlled dive, the drone hit near his head, detonating instantly. The explosion sent ripples across the swamp water, and the feed showed smoke rising through the mist. Both soldiers were neutralized, ending the encounter. A lone Russian soldier was spotted crawling through tall grass, attempting to remain undetected while moving toward his position. The reconnaissance drone followed silently until the moment was right. Then an FPV drone was dispatched. The strike approached low, weaving through the grass, and hit the target squarely. Further reconnaissance identified a large Russian hangar filled with vehicles and equipment. Ukrainian operators immediately prepared a strike. The FPV drone carried a high-explosive incendiary payload designed to ignite flammable materials. As the drone flew toward the hangar, the operators used the camera to observe the rows of parked vehicles, trucks, transporters, and light armored cars. Choosing the optimal point of impact, the drone descended and hit near the center of the hangar. Within seconds, fire spread across the area. The operators watched as smoke filled the structure, flames reflected off metal surfaces. The heat intensified until the camera feed turned white from glare. Another successful strike. A follow-up operation targeted the same hangar. The reconnaissance feed confirmed that 2 vehicles had already been destroyed in the first strike. Now another light car parked nearby became the next target. The FPV drone approached from a different angle to ensure precision. The hit caused an immediate explosion, and the vehicle burst into flames. Inside the hangar, multiple secondary explosions occurred, likely ammunition or fuel igniting. The entire structure continued to burn until nothing but a blackened frame remained visible. Elsewhere, a Russian vehicle towing an artillery gun was spotted driving along a dirt road. Hearing the buzzing of a drone, the crew quickly abandoned both the car and the gun. Left unmanned, they became easy targets. A direct hit to the gun barrel disabled it completely, rendering it unusable. The next drones targeted the car itself. One hit the HUD, another struck the engine compartment. Finally, an incendiary-equipped drone delivered a precise strike, setting the vehicle ablaze. The car burned for several minutes until only ashes were left. The artillery piece was also damaged beyond repair, another piece of enemy equipment lost. Among thick branches and green leaves, a Russian soldier was discovered trying to hide. Using an FPV drone fitted with an incendiary payload, Ukrainian forces executed the strike. The drone approached quietly, then descended sharply, hitting the center of the hiding area. Flames spread rapidly, consuming the leaves and grass. The camera captured the soldier's desperate attempts to extinguish the fire, moving, rolling, trying to escape the heat. But the flames overwhelmed him. Eventually, movement ceased, and smoke covered the scene. The precision of the strike left no doubt about the result. Three Russian soldiers were spotted moving along a small trail toward their positions. A drone armed with an incendiary payload struck one of them directly, causing an explosion that threw him to the ground. The 2 others scattered, but were immediately tracked by reconnaissance. One FPV drone after another was launched, systematically pursuing each target. Within moments, all 3 positions were hit. The footage confirmed no survivors remained in the area. During a night operation, Ukrainian drone units tracked a Russian truck moving under the cover of darkness. The vehicle was attempting to transport supplies to frontline troops, assuming that night flights would go unnoticed. However, the drone operators maintained visual contact. The FPV drone approached in silence, its camera barely illuminated. A precise strike hit the truck's cargo section, setting it ablaze. Flames illuminated the surrounding trees, exposing the entire scene on infrared cameras.